Ever stop to think about what really shapes a kid as they grow up? Beyond just school and home.
Hmm.
Could something like, say, martial arts be doing more than just teaching kicks and punches?
Well, it's interesting you ask. We've been digging into the materials from Warrior Martial Arts Academy, WMAA for short,
Right.
and they have this surprisingly detailed way they approach it, how they blend character development right into the frontal training.
It's not just about the moves then. It's like building something deeper.
Exactly. Looking through their student manuals and program guides, it's really clear this isn't just an afterthought.
Right.
There's a very intentional structure there, fostering things like discipline, respect, right alongside agility and coordination.
Huh. It makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah,
How different activities can actually, build specific qualities in a kid.
for sure.
And their vision, that kind of hits you right away. It's something like empowering children through martial arts and movement.
Mm-hmm. Nurturing confident, disciplined, and resilient individuals. That's the goal.
It's a big aim, yeah. But their core values sort of break it down, how they try to get there. Things like inclusivity, making it for everyone, really focusing on character, supporting, well, the whole child, physical, mental, emotional, social.
And safety, that's got to be key in martial arts.
Oh, definitely. Safety's right there in their values.
And the way they structure their programs by age seems pretty smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely not doing a one-size-fits-all thing. You've got specific programs for preschoolers, early elementary.
Even toddlers, right. I saw something about 2-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly. It lets them tailor everything, the training, the character lessons to what kids can actually grasp at that age.
Okay, so break that down. You've got Warrior Kids Junior for the little ones.
That's for the 4 to 6-year-olds. Then there's Warrior Kids, that's for 7 to 9s.
And even younger.
Yeah, Sidekick for the 3 and 4-year-olds, Defender for 5-6s, Champion also for 7-9s, maybe a bit more advanced, and Explore, that's the one for the really little guys, the 2-year-olds.
Wow, okay. That's quite the range. And they use that stripe system, too.
Right, the stripes. It acts as a kind of progress marker, keeps the kids motivated with these little goals within each level.
Sort of like mini achievements.
Exactly. It probably gives them that ongoing sense of, hey, I did it, which is, really important for keeping kids engaged and building their confidence.
Makes sense.
And it's interesting how they've identified these warrior basics.
What are those?
Things like agility, technique, speed, concentration, focus, control, memory, and coordination. They weave these basics through all the age groups.
So it's like a foundation for everything else.
Seems like it, yeah. A foundation for the physical skills that underpin the actual martial arts moves.
Gotcha. And they even have these basic movement patterns, Warrior Kids forms.
Basic sequences. But here's where I think it gets really fascinating. The specific focus on character building.
Okay.
They use this decision action consequence framework. DAC, they call it.
Decision Action Consequence, DAC. Okay, what's the idea there?
Well, it feels like a really practical way to help kids connect their choices with what happens next, to make abstract things like responsibility feel more real.
So it's not just telling them be responsible, it's showing them how their decisions lead to outcomes.
Exactly. It's like, okay, you decided this decision, so you did this action, and this was the result consequence. It gives them a clear process.
Fostering that sense of agency, like my choices matter.
Precisely. And how they bring it to life is honestly pretty cool. They use these animal characters.
Animals, like mascots.
Sort of, yeah. But each one represents a core character trait. There are 8 of them.
Okay, give me some examples.
All right, so you've got Orion the owl for respect, Brody the beaver for effort, Cora the crane stands for discipline, Eva the eagle is focus.
Okay, I see the pattern. Who else?
Bo the bear is courage, Piper the panther represents control, Gia the goat is perseverance, and Dash the dog embodies integrity.
Wow, that's a whole cast. Orion, Brody, Cora, Eva, Bo, Piper, Gia, Dash.
Right. It's like this memorable team helping teach these big ideas.
Using animals makes sense for kids, doesn't it? Makes abstract ideas more relatable.
Definitely. It's a classic technique in early ed. Kids connect with animals, helps them remember the traits. It's kind of like embodied learning.
And it's not just stories about these animals, is it? How do they use them in class?
Well, they have these quick mat chats.
Mat chats, like little huddles.
Yeah, basically. Short, focused discussions during class about the trait of the week, maybe linked to the animal character.
Okay.
And then this is key. They tie it directly to what the kids are doing. Like an instructor might say, remember Eva the eagle in focus. When you decided to really focus decision, you held your balance perfectly. action, and the consequence was great technique.
Ah, so that immediate feedback loop, connecting the DA right there in the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Super powerful. Reinforces the link between choice and result right in their practice.
Let's look at one. Respect Orion the owl.
Yeah.
How does that look for, say, the 4-year-olds?
For the younger ones, it's super concrete. Being nice, using kind words, listening when the instructor or another kid is talking, bowing, as a sign of respect, waiting your turn.
Simple, observable actions.
Exactly. And they might have a game like bow to your partner before they start an exercise. Makes respect a physical part of the activity.
Okay. What about effort with Brody the beaver?
That's all about trying your best, not giving up, putting energy into your moves.
Not just going through the motions.
Right. They may have an effort obstacle course. The point isn't who wins, but encouraging everyone to try hard and finish, showing that consistent effort leads to improvement.
I like that. Shifting focus from just talent to the actual trying.
Yeah.
Builds that growth mindset, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Teaches them that effort leads to improvement.
Yeah.
Huge life skill.
Okay, next. Cora the crane discipline.
Discipline is about following rules, practicing skills, controlling your body and actions. Focus. Self-control.
How do you teach that with a game?
Well, think about Sensei Says.
Like Simon says.
Exactly, a martial arts version. You have to listen carefully and follow the instructions precisely. That takes discipline.
And control. Okay, makes sense. And as they get older, they see how that applies elsewhere.
Hopefully, yeah. Discipline in the dojo can translate to discipline with homework or practicing an instrument.
Right. Eva the eagle focus.
Pointing your attention, concentrating, avoiding distractions, active listening.
How do they practice that?
They might do a focus balance drill, like holding a stance on one leg, maybe on a foam pad. You really have to concentrate to not wobble over.
Physically feeling what focus is.
Yeah, it requires that mental and physical stillness, tuning out distractions.
Cool. Then Boa the bear courage.
Being brave enough to try something new, face a challenge, attempt a difficult move, even speak up.
And how do you practice courage safely?
They might do something like a courage board break, using soft, rebreakable boards or pads.
So it's not actually dangerous, but it feels like a big deal?
Exactly. It gives them that feeling of breaking through an obstacle, overcoming something. It's symbolic, but really empowering. Builds confidence.
I can see that. Okay, Piper the panther control.
Using gentle hands and feet, moving safely, being able to stop your body quickly. It's physical and emotional regulation, proper form.
Crucial in martial arts, I imagine.
Absolutely. They might have a controlled gentle hands drill, practicing blocks with a partner, focusing on smooth, controlled movements, not hitting hard.
So it's about body awareness and regulating force. Important outside the dojo, too.
Definitely. How they interact with siblings, friends.
Right. Gia the goat, perseverance. Keep trying.
Yep. Don't give up. Keep going, even when it's hard. Understanding that mastery takes time and practice.
Now that's hot.
Maybe a perseverance combination challenge, learning a sequence of moves. Kids might stumble, forget a step.
Happens all the time.
Right. But they're encouraged to keep practicing, stick with it, get it right. Teaches them that setbacks are normal, not a reason to quit.
Love that. And the last one, Dash the dog integrity.
Being honest, doing what's right, playing fair, keeping promises, trustworthiness.
How do you work that into a physical class?
Maybe through honesty moves. If a kid makes a mistake in a drill, they're encouraged to just, acknowledge it. Oops, messed that up. And then try again correctly.
So it's okay to make mistakes. The important thing is being honest about it.
Exactly. Creating that safe space where honesty is valued over pretending you're perfect, fosters integrity, taking responsibility.
It's really noticeable how they seem to adapt this for the different ages.
Totally. For the Warrior Kids Jr., the 4-6-year-olds, it's very much about those concrete connections. You do this, this happens. Observable actions, immediate consequences.
Learning cause and effect through experience.
You're right. But then for the older Warrior Kids, the 7-9s, they start getting into the why.
More abstract thinking.
Yeah, they can start to understand why following the rules helps everyone, why respect is important. The focus shifts towards internalizing the values, not just the actions, developing that internal compass.
That makes sense developmentally.
They even touch briefly on neuroscience, especially in that Explore program for the toddlers.
Really? Like brain science?
Yeah, mentioning how play and movement trigger chemicals like dopamine for reward and curiosity, oxytocin for bonding, serotonin for well-being and mood.
So they're thinking about how this environment actually supports healthy brain development.
It seems so. It shows a pretty deep level of thought about early childhood development.
They shared that story too, didn't they, about the two cousins?
Oh, yeah, Levi and Wylan.
Right, Levi was the younger one
Yeah.
in Warrior Kids Jr.
And the story showed him really getting the hang of control, discipline, and effort through the games and those mat chats. Simple stuff, but it clicked for him.
And Wylan, the older cousin in Warrior Kids.
He learned about focus, discipline, respect, control, also perseverance and integrity.
Didn't he struggle with something at first?
Yeah, he got frustrated with some techniques, but then he apparently remembered the lesson about perseverance, Gia the goat, and kept trying until he improved.
That's great, seeing it applied right there.
And the story emphasized how it wasn't just in class.
What do you mean?
Well, the parents noticed changes. They saw the kids using these ideas, these traits, when they were playing at the park, or even with Wylan doing his homework.
So it transferred. That's the real test, isn't it? Taking it outside the specific activity?
Absolutely. That transfer of learning is huge. It shows the values are actually sticking, becoming part of how they operate in general.
So if we boil it down for the listener, the key takeaway from WMAA seems to be this really deliberate, intentional weaving of character development into everything they do.
Right. Using that DAC framework, decision, action, consequence, and those 8 core traits represented by the animals.
You're making it engaging, connecting the physical training with building kids up mentally and emotionally.
Exactly. What really stands out is that intentionality. The animal characters are a clever hook, making it memorable.
And even considering the neurobiology for the little ones.
Mhm.
That's pretty comprehensive.
It is. It definitely gives you a fast track to understanding a thoughtful approach to kids' development. It's clearly about more than just martial arts skills.
Building well-rounded people.
Mm-hmm. You know, it makes you think, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, that whole decision, action, consequence framework, how might that be useful for us, as adults, thinking about our own choices, our interactions, or even when talking things through with others?
Applying it to ourselves. Interesting thought. Maybe something you explore further, looking into WMAA more, or just thinking about character development and other activities kids do.
Worth considering, definitely.